Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So for today's video, we have a huge discussion that needs to happen. And I don't always like making videos like this because in this case, you know, it is about a topic that has probably two of the most sensitive fan bases in the entire sports world. I'm not saying everybody that's a fan of these two things is sensitive. I'm just saying that it does have its share of delusional fans and stuff like that, man. That being LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers, man. As we all know, the Lakers suck. It's not just like, oh, they're like a decent basketball team. Right now, man, the Lakers are 27-33, which is 9th in the Western Conference. They just lost to the Pelicans 123-95, and that's without Zion, man. This is also not a game of NBA 2K22 where the Pelicans win the championship every single damn video I do, right? This is real life basketball, okay? The Lakers lost 123-95. And there's nothing that can be done about this roster. There's nothing. It's nothing, man. It's nothing. Okay. Whew. Gotta pull back a little bit. Before we get going on this video, I need to ask you guys if you can please drop that like and subscribe if you are enjoying the NBA discussion type of content. But plain and simple, man, okay? I think the first thing that we really need to discuss here is the mindset of LeBron James. And nobody can be inside LeBron's mind. It's just impossible. He's his own person. I mean, if you could read, if you could read some minds, then hit me up, man. I'm just saying, man, but no, straight up, actually, don't hit me up. Yeah, don't hit me up, man. I don't want you to read my bitch ass mind, man. But no, when it comes down to it, LeBron James and loyalty. I've been watching LeBron James since he's entered the NBA. I guess technically I started watching the 2003-2004 season. You know, I was a Detroit Piston hype beast and everything like that, man. But plain and simple, man, I've been watching LeBron James from the beginning. Okay? I've seen him say things and do other things. I've seen him, you know, put himself and his family in the best situation for them, you know, in the future and everything, man. But also his legacy and also his ability to chase the ghost of Michael Jordan, right? We all know that's on LeBron's mind. I don't know if it is as much as his career winds down. Maybe it's not as important to him, but I think it is to some extent, to the point of if he's going to play basketball, he's going to put himself in the best position to win basketball games. I don't see why he has any sort of loyalty to the Los Angeles Lakers anymore, to the point of, you know, you always hear people say, oh, LeBron's never leaving. And that's not just Laker fans. That's going back to the Miami Heat days. That's going back to the Cleveland Cavaliers days, man. You know, when LeBron James was first on the Cleveland Cavaliers, he promised to bring that team a ring. He says, I'm gonna bring the Cleveland Cavaliers a ring. It's gonna happen. He ended up leaving to the Miami Heat. At that time, I was disgusted with LeBron James. I just could not, especially early on, because like I said, man, I mean, I was not a new basketball fan at that point, but it was the first time, you know, doing the decision and everything like that, that you really saw a guy that said, I'm going to bring this team a ring, and then he just left. He just left to a better opportunity. A big part of that is that the Cleveland Cavaliers management did a bad job of putting guys around LeBron. He gave him an old Shaquille O'Neal, you know, Boobie Gibson, and Antoine Jamison, man. That was his team, right? I respect Mo Williams, too. But, yeah, so we ended up leaving, and I was disgusted. He went to the Miami Heat. He won them a few rings. And at that point of winning the rings with the Miami Heat, he's like, all right, I've done my job here. My loyalties to the Heat are done. I've done this chapter. Went back to the Miami Heat. I'm sorry, to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Won them a championship ring. At that point, people were saying, hey, LeBron's going to be here until he retires. He's never going to leave. He's never going to leave. He won us a ring. This team's built around LeBron. It's perfect. He ended up leaving and going to the Los Angeles Lakers. That was a new chapter for him, right? In that chapter, he's won them a championship ring. Now, you can call it the Mickey Mouse ring, whatever you want to. I don't care about that stuff. He won a championship ring. That's how it's going to go down in the history books, right, man? And with that team, it was built pretty nicely. Anthony Davis, obviously a superstar player, although this season he's definitely regressed, especially that three-point shot, shooting 17% on a team that he needs to be able to shoot threes more than ever. You know, had KCP, had Kyle Kuzma, had, you know, just guys like that, man, guys that were just nice around LeBron James. Caruso, who was the high-energy guy. The team just worked, and they ended up winning a championship. So we got that ring. So at that point, we historically know that once LeBron wins a ring, that's his mission for the teams he goes to, then he's done after that. The rest is just gravy, man. It's if you get some extra LeBron, you get some extra LeBron. Like I said, the Miami Heat, they got multiple championships out of it, man. But that's because that team was built perfect. And that's gonna help me transition to this next topic, man, about why this Lakers roster is just so unfixable, man. It's just completely unfixable. And don't get me wrong, if LeBron James was 27 years of age, I would not be having this conversation, because you would be able to afford to have a season or two where the roster's not perfect, right? Like you can get away with that with the prime LeBron James. LeBron James still plays prime basketball, not all the time, because obviously getting older, but he's still pretty damn good. I think on the season, I got the stats real quick here, man. Yeah, LeBron on the season is averaging 29 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. We all know that injuries are kind of like, you know, a more common occurrence with him at this point in his career. But the thing is, when LeBron, you know, we already talked about that Lakers roster they won the championship with, how that was built perfectly. You look at the Miami Heat, man, you know, they had Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, those guys just worked around LeBron. You know, the Cleveland Cavaliers having Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, those guys just worked around LeBron. But then you go beyond that and you look at the rest of the guys they signed to those teams, man. It was always like smaller minimum contract type deals. You know, your Shane Battier's, your Ray Allen's, your Mike Miller's, you know, players like that, that just kind of like, once again, were these older players that signed these minimum deals, but they worked around LeBron, right? It worked. So now you go to this Lakers team now, and it's constructed the same way that those former teams have been constructed, and that is having the two other, like, you know, all-star, superstar caliber players, this time around being Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook, next to LeBron James, and the rest of the roster is made up of other guys. The thing about this, though, is that, for one, we already said that Anthony Davis has not played great basketball this season. He really has not. He's just not himself, and I think a big part of that is, I think you look at Anthony Davis, and he's just a guy that I don't think is going to age well as an NBA player. Like, he has so many injuries to his history already. He's, you know, 7-footer, though not always a great thing either, as far as, you know, just becoming older and stuff and having more injury woes. So you have that. But you also have Russell Westbrook. Like, Russell Westbrook, we knew going into the season was not a good fit next to LeBron and Anthony Davis. We all knew this, man. We were screaming, like, you're doing something just to do it. That's what getting Russell Westbrook was. And, you know, man, I'm staring at some of the stats right now of this team. And right now, their pace is 4th in the NBA. Their offensive rating is 25th. And to me, that literally is the definition of, like, a poor fit in Russell Westbrook. A guy that plays quick, too quick, and it leads to a bad flow of offense. Like, you might be playing quick, but you're making mistakes. So that doesn't work. But beyond that, you also have the older veteran players. I'm just going to go down the list real quick. I mean, you know, Carmelo Anthony's been fine at times. You got, who else we got here? Yeah, Trevor Ariza, I don't really think has done too much. I mean, just, you know, Avery Bradley's just kind of basic. You have Malik Monk, who's not like a veteran off like them. He's a younger player and stuff and everything. But once again, like, these guys, like, yeah, some of them are fine, like, work, but like Carmelo Anthony, I'll give props to Melo. Melo has done a good job to somewhat develop his game and change his game as his career's gone on and everything. But, you know, it's not as good as fit as back when it was like, let's say, like Ray Allen doing it, or Mike Miller, or Shane Battier, you know, players like that, right? So, alrighty, so at this point now, we see this Lakers team. They have guys that they can't really trade in Russell Westbrook, and you have this old roster that's just not really working. Alright, so let's go to the offseason. Let's go to the offseason where people are saying there's no chance LeBron leaves, there's no chance he requests a trade. What are the Lakers to do this offseason, man? Like, if you are watching this video, I humbly want you to respond in the comment section below, especially if you're a Lakers or a LeBron's fan. Especially if you're a delusional Lakers fan, man. I really want to know, what do you think this team does this offseason? And if they do that, if you have a plan, fair. I'll say, okay, yeah, that works. LeBron will say, because that will work. But the fact of the matter is, I don't really see any leverage in this case. And therefore, I see LeBron's loyalty ending right there. I mean, come on, man, All-Star Weekend. Like, I know he's in Cleveland, so he's probably talking up a little bit, but we're already hearing talks about him leaving to play with Bronny. There's talks about him wanting to return to Cleveland. Now, I don't know if Cleveland wants him back. My guess is that if LeBron said, I want to go back to Cleveland, Cleveland would open, you know, with open arms. Like, you would do that for LeBron James, right? Now, there's, you know, arguments saying that's like, well, the team's going the right direction, so I get that too, but it's LeBron James. Any team's taking LeBron James if given the opportunity. So, I mean, I just, like, I look at this team, you can't trade Russell Westbrook. I mean, so that just leaves the next option. If this team is just can't do anything, then okay, if you really want to keep LeBron James, then at that point, you're probably looking to trade Anthony Davis. There's been kind of some whispers about it already, saying that's like, all right, he's getting kind of, you know, he's getting up there a little bit in age. He's not old yet, but body-wise, he's kind of a little bit older. I'd say he's got like a 33-year-old body, man. So, yeah, you got that, and you could trade him. I'm sure you could get some good assets back from him for a team that has no draft picks, that just doesn't really have, they don't have anything. They don't have anything to get better. Not even salary cap, man. They don't have salary cap. So, I mean, what do they do? What do they do? What do they do except trade Anthony Davis, trade LeBron James, get some assets back, you know, hang on to Russell Westbrook till his contract's off, and then just start a rebuild from there, man. Because at this point, if you don't win anymore with Russell, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, and those guys just either, you know, leave eventually or retire, you're screwed for your future. I mean, the management went all in for this big three. They went all in, man. And, okay, I guess that's not completely true because they did trade for Anthony Davis, you know, a few years back. But dang, Russell Westbrook put them in just a bad situation, man. Like, that contract is so untradeable right now, it's not even funny. Like, nobody wants Russell Westbrook, whether he's a good player or not. Nobody wants him because you could be a good player but not worth the money, right? Like, you could be a good player but you can still be overpaid. So my guess is that LeBron James, I think, is going to be very vocal early on in the offseason for this team to make some moves. I think the team is going to not be able to do that. There's just no opportunity. And I think LeBron James is going to request a trade. I really do, man. I really do. Because, like I said, if he was 27, yeah, you have a few seasons to weigh things out. But LeBron is down to, like the final 2 or 3 seasons, maybe, of his NBA career. And I just don't think he's going to waste it for question marks. I don't think he has a reason to waste it for question marks. I don't think that he has any loyalty to stay with the Lakers through even a mini rebuild, which he doesn't even have time to do. I don't think he has that loyalty to the franchise because you look at some teams like the Cavaliers and the Miami Heat. I would say Cleveland's the most important team he's ever played for, no doubt. He didn't have loyalty to them, man. In the sense of, you know, doing things beyond winning a ring. Like, once you win a ring, in my opinion, like, you've done your job, do what you want. I just don't see any reason whatsoever. But like I said, man, let me know in the comment section below. If you have a plan, let me know what that plan is. Even if it's just like, just mind-boggling, doesn't make sense. I want to hear it because I don't see any way for this team to get better in the short term, and I don't think LeBron's got the long-term patience to wait. So all we got for this video, man. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.